Continuing where I left off, Book 5, Games and a Conflagration. Cutting through waves blown dark by a chilled wind, Aeneas held his ships firmly on course for a mid-sea crossing, but he kept his eyes upon the city far astern, now bright with poor Ilyssus' peril. What caused that blaze remained unknown to watchers out at sea, but what they knew of a great love profaned, in anguish and in desperate woman's nerve, led every Trojan heart into foreboding. When they had gained the offing east and north, no land in sight now, but sky everywhere, and everywhere the sea, a thunderhead, towered above them, bringing gloom and storm. With shuddering dusky water, Aeneas' helmsman, Palinurus, called from his high stern deck, "Why have these clouds massed on the height of heaven? Father Neptune, what are you brewing for us?" On this he made the seamen shorten sail, and bend to the oars. He trimmed his fluttering canvas more to catch the wind, and said, "Aeneas, Lord Commander, even if Jupiter should pledge his word for it, I could not hope to make landfall on Italy in this weather. It's thickening up, and now the wind blows hard, out of the murky west abeam of us. No bucking it, we cannot make or our northing. Seeing that fortune has the upper hand, I say give in, and follow where she calls. No long reach eastward, there's a loyal coast. I think the land named for your brother Eryx, and the Sicilian ports, if I remembered rightly my star heights and my miles at sea." The good commander said, "For some time now I've noticed what the veering wind demands, and how you fought it uselessly. Change course, haul yards, and sail the round. Could any soil be more agreeable to me, or any, where I would rather moor these tired ships, than Sicily, home of my Dardan friend Acestus, and the ashes of my father?" With this exchange they headed east for port, the west wind in their sails. On a following swell the fleet ran free, and happily at last they turned in toward the shoreline that they knew. Far off now, on a high hilltop, Acestus wondered to see his guest fleet coming in. They hurried down, spiny with javelins, wearing a Libyan she-bear's hide, Acestus, born of a Trojan mother, to the river. God Chrysinus, as he knew and prized his parentage, he welcomed their return, treated them to the riches of the field, and comforted with friendship wearied men. When the next day, at dawn, the brightening sky made the stars fade, Aeneas called his crews together from all quarters of the shore, and spoke out from a built-up rostrum of Dardanus in the high line, sons of Dardanus in the high line of gods. The months are spent, the rounding year fulfilled, since we interfere with my godlike father's bones, and mourn and bless his altars. And if I am not mistaken, now that day has come, which I shall hold in bitterness and honor all my life. Gods, you will have it so. Were I today exiled in Libyan sands, or caught at sea off Argos, or detained in walled Mycenae, still I should carry out my anniversary vows and ceremonies, heaping the altars, as I should, with offerings. But now, beyond all expectation, here we stand beside his ashes and bones. And surely not, I think, without the great gods' will and contrivance, carry here off course, to enter kindly havens. Come then, everyone, we'll celebrate this holiday in joy. Let us ask for propitious winds, and when our city is laid out, our temples blessed in Father's honor, may he grant each year that I perform this ritual. Trojan born, Acetus gives each ship 2 head of oxen. Welcome the hearth guards to their feast, our own and those our host Acetus cherishes. Then too, if as we trust 9 days from now, dawn lifts for mortals her dear light and bears the worlds with sun rays, I shall plan and hold contest for Trojans. First a ship rate, then we'll see who wins at running, who stands out in pride of strength at javelin and archery, or dares to fight with raw hide on his hands. May all compete for prizes in the palm. Now silence all, garland your brows with leaves. All this he shaded his own brows with myrtle, loved by his mother. Helymus did the same, Acetus ripe with age, the boy Ascanius, and all the young men followed suit. Aeneid left the assembly now, and made his way, with many thousands, to the funeral mound. Walking amid the crowd, once there, he poured the ritual libations, 2 of wine, 2 of fresh milk, and 2 of victims' blood, then cast down purple morning flowers, and said, I greet and bless you, sacred Father, bless you. Ashes and shade and soul, paternal soul, I vainly rescued once. It was not given me, with you beside me, to explore the coast and plains of Italy, nor to discover, whatever it may be, Arsenian Tiber. So far he had proceeded in his speech, when from the depths of mound and shrine a snake came huge and undulent with 7 coils, elevating the barrow peacefully, and gliding on amid the altars. Azure flecks mottled his back, a dapple sheen of gold set all his scales ablaze, as when a rainbow on the clouds facing the sun throws out 1,000 colors. Aeneid paused, amazed and silent, while deliberately the snake's long column wound among the bowls and polished cups, browsing the festal dishes, and from the altars where he fed again slid harmlessly to earth below the tomb. Now all the more intent, the celebrant took up again his father's ritual, uncertain whether he should think the snake the local god, the genius of the place, or the intended spirit of his father. He sacrificed a pair of sheep, a pair of swine, a pair of heifers with black hides, then poured out shallow bowls of wine, and called the ghost of great Anchises, the death shade, released from Acheron. Then his companions, each to his capacity, brought in their own glad offerings. They piled the altars, knifed the beast, placed cauldrons on the fire, and at their ease upon the grass raked up live coals under the spits to broil the flesh. In due course came the awaited day. The shining sunbeams brought a ninth and cloudless dawn. Acetus' influence roused the neighboring folk, and now in happy groups they thronged the shore to see Aeneas' men, or to compete. But first the prizes were set out on view. Midfield, blessed tripods, fresh green crowns and palms, rewards for winners, armor too and robes, infused with crimson dyed, gold bars and silver. Next, from a central eminence, a trumpet sang out for the opening of the games, the well-matched entrance in the first event, where heavy oared ships, 4 from the whole fleet, Meneceus' eager oarsmen drove the sea beast. Meneceus of Italy he soon would be, from whose name came the clan of Menes. Then Gaius captained the Chimera, huge in length and weight, big as a town afloat, which Dardan oarsmen in 3 tiers drove onward, surging together at 3 banks of oars. Then he for whom the surging house was named Sergestus rode the great centaur, Clothis, from whom your family came. Roman Clupis rode in the sea blue Scylla. Out at sea, well off the foaming beach, there is a rock, submerged and beaten by high seas at times, where northwest winds in winter hide the stars, but in calm weather it stands quietly above the unmoving water, at level perch and happy sunning place for gulls. Aeneas made a green goal here with an ilex bow, wishing well marked for sailors in his charge, the point where they should turn and double back on the long course. Now they drew lots for places, captains erect upon the sterns, their gold and splendid crimson gleaming far around. The crews for their part, garlanded with poplar, bared to the waist, glistened with rubbing oil, well settled on their planks, reaching ahead to oar halves, listening hard for the starting call. Throbbing excitement seemed to void their hearts, all beating high in appetite for glory. Then, as the brilliant trumpet gave its notes, they all surged forward from the starting line, no lagging. Heaven echoed shouts and channels on the crewmen's, pulling turned to foam. Abreast they cleft their furrows, all the sea torn up by oar strokes and the biting prows. The racing cars in a 2-horse chariot raced, are not so headlong to consume the field, once they have left the barriers, not though the charioteers shake out the rippling veins, to give head to the teams, and hang above them, bent to the whip. Then with applause and cheers and partisan shouts, the wooden landscape rang, the shores obeyed, rolled the sound back and forth, and the reverberant hills gave back the din. Amid the turbulence, the leader now, racing ahead at the very start, was Gaius. Close on him came Clothis, better served by oarsmen, but his ship weight slowed him up. Behind them, at an equal interval, the sea beast and the centaur vied for third, and now the sea beast had it. Now the mighty centaur took the lead. Now both together, prows on a line, and their long keels plowed up the salt sea water as they all came near. The offshore rock, the halfway mark, the leader, Gaius held Menelaus as the tiller. Why keep so far to starboard, man? This way! Hug shore, making the turn. What if the oar blades graze the rock to port? Let others sheer off wide to seaward. Heedless in his fear of a hidden ledge, Menelaus swung the prow toward the open sea. Gaius again cried out, Now why bear off? Stick to the rocks, Menelaus. And at that instant, looking back, he saw Clothis just behind on the inner track. Between the ship of Gaius and the rocks, he shaved his way to port, then suddenly shot past him at the turn and got away into safe water, leaving the mark behind. Young Gaius flared up now ablaze to the bottom of his soul with indignation, and tears wetted his cheeks. Without a thought for dignity or the safety of his crew, he tossed cautious Menelaus overboard into the sea. Then he himself, as a steersman, took the tiller, and as captain cheered his oarsmen as he swung the rudder over, heading for shore. When heavy old Menelaus slowly at last emerged from the sea bottom, drenched and streaming, Up he climbed and sat atop the dry ledge. Trojans had laughed to see his plunge, his swimming, and now laughed again as he coughed up sea water from his chest. To the two behind, to Methus and Sergestus, the happy thought had come of passing Gyas. Now he had lost speed, and Sergestus led, nearing the rock, though not by a full boat length, for sea beasts by her prow came up alongside. And I'm going to leave it off right there. If you like it, please keep viewing, subscribe, leave a comment below, give it a thumbs up if you did it, put it down, and thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.